You gonna hit an old lady?
Do you remember Black Dynamite?
No.
Let's fix that, because this show is actually, I don't remember, but I saw the show though, I promise. Seriously though, I'd like to see if this was an overlooked gem or as forgettable as it's been the last 8 years. For those of you who don't remember, Black Dynamite was a cartoon based on some movie you've never heard of, produced by Carl Jones, who is known for his work on the Boondocks. The series spanned from July 2011 to January 2015, airing at the same time as shows like Bob's Burgers, Kung Fu Panda, The Amazing World of Gumball, and Ninjago. So yeah, the show never had a chance. Before delving into the story, there's already a lot of great stuff going on from an aesthetic standpoint. The art's beautiful. It was inspired by a 2011 Japanese film called Red Line, and it's been used ever since for Megan Thee Stallion music videos.
Also need more than enough, moisturization, because it gets sweaty around here.
I'll concede, from a visual standpoint, Black Dynamite looks better than most cartoons ever. It's as if you breathe life into a comic book panel. I can't get enough. Speaking of can't get enough, these episode titles, man, listen to this.
Just beat it. Or Jackson 5 across your eyes. Black Jaws. Or Finger Licking Chicken of the Sea. Honky Kong. Or White Apes Can't Hump.
We missed out on a classic for sure. It stars the titular character Black Dynamite. Yes, that's Bro's canonical government. Shout out to his parents.
Anti-hero Black Dynamite. And yes, folks, that is his government.
Alright, I didn't know they would say that. He's the stereotypical stoic, stern macho man with a heart of gold. Also, his hands work, which is always nice. What makes him such a charismatic and compelling character is, as strong as Black Dynamite is, there's still things that ground him, like his lack of a father, his fear of failure, and his shortcomings as a father himself. The Dynamite's friends and foster children also help with this tremendously, because if he's in the wrong, they'll let him know. Just because he's the strongest force the world has ever known doesn't mean he can't get talked down to. Black Dynamite's team and friends mainly consist of Bullhorn, who be like freestyling while he talks. If I see an album, finna put him in the Honeybee, the Queen Ho, and Creamcorn, who's also there. The show's like Scooby-Doo with the mystery solving aspect, but take that, throw it in the hood, increase the profanity and race jokes, then add elite level combat, and there you go. The show takes place in the 70s, and you can tell because besides the character portrayals and environment, Michael Jackson's still a kid who's part of an alien race and was actually the one beating his family with a team of Super Jacksons that shoot lasers, and the fashion choices. It was an outstanding decision to have the story take place at that time period for a plethora of reasons. I think it helps you appreciate the art style more. Not only that, they get to rewrite history, like with the Michael Jackson thing I just mentioned, or having O.J. Simpson almost go to the moon, or Richard Pryor. Okay, they didn't really change it much. What's difficult about a choice like this is you can't necessarily talk about current events. For example, the Boondocks could talk about what's happening in today's climate because it was meant to be a modern show. For Black Dynamite, you either have to allude to these events or create a character that represents the subject you want to speak on. One thing I do have against the show, and I hate to say it, is it's not that funny. Subjective, sure, but for every joke that does land, there's like another 5 that doesn't, and that's not a huge deal if the show wasn't consistently trying to be funny. It's not a complete put off from the show for me because I still love the characters and the wacky hijinks, but I still figured it worth mentioning. I'll admit that it's not as much the case in season 2, which was far better. Even Black Dynamite's voice actor Michael J. White says that we basically give them more of what works. Also, for a show with as much fighting, you wouldn't expect the fights to be as mediocre and bare bones as they are. Most of the time it's just snapshot and quick sequences throughout the series. You never see the characters throw down like that. I'm looking past the negatives because over time I grew to love this show. It's just so much fun. The majority of the topics in this show you won't find anywhere else, like being hunted by the Black Panther and some white-hunted individuals that I can't name or I'll think I'll get demonetized, or the more normal ideas like owing the IRS money becomes a life or death struggle. The core cast has kept me attached and motivated to watch every episode till the end. None of the characters are perfect. They all make mistakes. They argue. They're hard-headed at times, but it makes them feel more human because while that's all true, they laugh and cry together and act like a genuine family. I'd like to take a moment to compare it to a show that aired around the same time. It doesn't hit the same. The Boondocks would have a central theme or critique that it would build its episode and jokes around, and Black Dynamite kind of just mentions it, then continues on with whatever's happening. I could, have missed the point, and I'd feel different on the playback, but I'm not doing all that. Even Creamcorn's voice actor said the Boondocks was very modern, and maybe that's why the show connects with me more. I can understand more of the jokes. I can be like, BT is trying to destroy black people, or man, After looking back, Tyler Perry really weird for hopping in a woman's dress. But while watching Black Dynamite, I'm literally having to Google a lot of the celebrities they mentioned. I won't say that this show is exceptional, and honestly, it's not that memorable after watching all of the episodes, but it was still a pleasure to watch regardless. It did everything well enough that you want to see what happens in the next episode. Everyone who had a hand in it, from voice actors to animators, made it just seem like it was made from pure passion and love. It's practically contagious. With that being said, sometimes that's not enough. As a binging experience, it's cool, but while it was airing, I could have easily forgotten about it. In fact, I don't think I watched an episode of it while it aired. The last episode feels like a pretty satisfying conclusion, featuring Tyler the Creator and Erykah Badu, along with the topics of police brutality and taking the power into your own hands being covered. Anyways, this is a 6 out of 10, and since Invincible Season 2 is dropping, we don't got time for mid, or as most characters in the show would say,
You ain't